No bombastic statements, no chest thumping, and no threat. But President Donald Trump's retweet, which called off for firing off his administration's top infectious disease specialist, Dr. Anthony Fauci, has set the proverbial cat among the pigeons. Under fire for delaying the lockdown and social distancing, critics say that the US president was left with no choice but to subtly deflect the criticism by raking up a new controversy. And in the middle of it was this man.
Just a very quick update on the countermeasure development in the form of vaccines and therapeutics is that I told you we would have a vaccine that we would be putting into trials to see if it's safe.
This is Dr. Anthony Fauci, explaining America's preparedness to develop a vaccine to fight coronavirus. Fauci is part of the special task force appointed by President Trump to combat the virus. Dr. Fauci has emerged as a reliable voice to provide information and clarify the US government's step to fight the COVID-19. And yet Trump with his tweets set off speculations of firing him. Crux Plus looks into the life of Anthony Fauci and understands why he is seen as America's best bet to fight the coronavirus.
The system is not really geared to what we need right now, what you are asking for. That is a failing.
And failing, yes.
It is a failing. I mean, let's admit it. The fact is, the way the system was set up is that the public health component that Dr. Redfield was talking about was a system where you put it out there in the public and a physician asks for it and you get it. The idea of anybody getting it easily, the way people in other countries are doing it, we're not set up for that. Do I think we should be? Yes, but we're not.
Okay, that's really disturbing and I appreciate the information.
He minces no words, and it's statements that have earned him credibility in the eyes of the American people, especially at a time when their president is accused of spreading half-truths and misleading information. Born in Brooklyn on December 24, 1940, Fauci graduated securing the top position in his class at Cornell Medical College. Fauci's career began with the National Institute of Health in 1968. And at the age of 44, he took over as the director for the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, a post he still holds in 2020. As the director, his first assignment was to control the HIV/AIDS outbreak. Dr. Fauci still banks upon those experiences and lessons he learned while trying to prevent the spread of AIDS. In 2008, Fauci received the highest civilian award in the US, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. But his passion to serve people was best seen when he rejected repeated offers to lead the National Institute of Health, America's most important research center on public health. Instead of a big office, Fauci wanted to be at the forefront of the United States' efforts to fight diseases.
I think you're going to see headlines in the coming years of an even more of a decrease in HIV infection throughout the world.
Right person for the job. George H.W. Bush, during a presidential debate with Michael Dukakis, was asked who his heroes were.
I think of Dr. Fauci. Probably never heard of him. He's a very fine research top doctor at National Institute of Health, working hard doing something about research on this disease of AIDS.
And now all of America has heard of him, and he has gone from being not just George Bush's hero, but that of America. He has served under 6 different presidents and has handled a number of outbreaks other than HIV, including SARS, MERS, and Ebola. But public life did not see Fauci hold back from stating facts even when uncomfortable. And he has done so with a sense of reassuring balance, something that has earned him the reputation of America's doctor. He is even remembered for his humane gesture of hugging a nurse on her release after being cured of Ebola in 2014. This was seen as a strong message to fight a possible social stigma she could have been subjected to. But that's not all. Dr. Anthony Fauci's A-game comes during a public health crisis like this. At a time when people look for information to feel secure, he is known to break down complex stuff into understandable language.
If the virus is left to its own devices, you will see a major peak, which will then turn around and come on down. How high that gets, Mark, and how long it's going to take to turn around is going to be very much dependent upon how successfully we do containment and mitigation, the kinds of physical separations of people that have now been part of the guidelines.
In fact, anticipating the spread of coronavirus, Fauci initiated research on vaccines even before the US had its first COVID-19 patient. But the fight against coronavirus for Fauci has not been easy. In his quest of being a champion of truth and facts, he has often found himself at odds with President Trump.
But, when you get that safety, this has been prescribed for many years for people to combat malaria, which was a big problem, and it's very effective. It's a strong drug. So we'll see.
Is there any evidence to suggest that, as with malaria, it might be used as a prophylaxis against COVID-19?
No, the answer is no. And the evidence that you're talking about, John, is anecdotal evidence.
But this comment of him has ruffled a few feathers in the White House, reports suggested. Trump even showed his disapproval in this tweet, and Fauci had to bite the bullet and come out with a clarification.
But clearly, as happens all the time, there were interpretations of that response to a hypothetical question that I just thought it would be very nice for me to clarify because I didn't have the chance to clarify.
The controversy seems to have calmed down for the time being, but only time will tell if Fauci will be a celebrated hero like Robert J. Oppenheimer post the coronavirus pandemic, or will he be blamed for being unable to lead and inspire scientists under his watch to discover a vaccine and end the body count.